guys, and welcome back here on my channel. Today I want to talk to you about new stuffs, new gear, new everything. You probably heard a little bit already. I bought myself a new laptop, a new MacBook Pro, and I think it really is legit. This is the most metal laptop ever built. It's almost the most genty. And my decision process why I went to purchase this one, I will let you know right after the intro. What do we have here? We have the 16-inch MacBook Pro with the M1 chip. It's the entry model with the 512 gigabyte SSD, which I think is sufficient. Although I've seen other reviews and thoughts that are telling otherwise, but I'll let you know why I think that. In the meantime, while I'm telling you all of this, please do not forget to like and subscribe so that you will always be notified when there's new information up on this channel. So I have, as I said, this 16-inch model. I had a look at the 14-inch model, and I originally wanted to get the 14-inch model actually. But when I had a look at them in real life in the store, I found that the 14-inch model actually is tiny. And when it's tiny, you know, then you have this issue. Then you don't use it as a mobile device anymore, especially now with music production. You need to have some, as the people call it, real estate, like screen real estate, to be able to work sufficiently and efficiently first and foremost. And with a too small display, that's becoming an issue. And what then will happen if you have a small display that you do not really enjoy working with? Then you would just rather use it as a desktop machine and use it with a bigger display. But then if I want a desktop machine, well, to be honest, then I could buy the new Mac Studio or a Mac Mini. Right? Probably also is sufficient. Even just like the entry-level Mac Studio is cheaper than the MacBook Pro. So if I really want to have a MacBook Pro, then it has to be also mobile. Otherwise, it wouldn't make sense to buy a thing like that. And therefore, I decided to go for the 16-inch so that I have the bigger screen that I can work with. So why did I actually decide to get myself a new machine? I can tell you right away, my old machine is actually 11 years old. It's a Sandy Bridge, and it's a Sandy Bridge i3 machine that I've used for the last 10 to 11 years, and it worked perfectly, and even for the music it still works good. It's now coming to its limits with the newest software instruments and stuff, where you can now see that the processing capacity reaches its limits. So, but it's done the job perfectly fine for the last 10 to 11 years. So nothing to and especially being the entry-level processor, right? That's how good the Sandy Bridge were. So the new machine, this one here, only has 16 gigs, which is already double as what my old machine has, but I went for 16 gigs of RAM because I figured that this would be enough, because the swaps is so fast that if it ever has to swap out something towards the SSD, which is also like, what is it, 7 gigabytes a second or something? That's insanely fast for a hard drive. So if it has to swap something out onto the hard drive should still, or the SSD should still be fast enough so that it doesn't make a big difference. The next thing would have been, okay, I could have gotten 32 gigs of RAM, but then the 32 gigs of RAM for the M1 Pro didn't really make sense to me, because then you could also upgrade to the M1 Max, where you then get the system bus speed of 400 gigabits per second rather than 200 gigabits per second, which is already insanely fast. Yeah. But so for me, it's like upgrading to 32 gigs on the Pro wouldn't really make sense, because if I have to upgrade to 32, as I said, then I would have gone for the Max. But then if you count if you check the price, that is like more than €1,000 on top of what I've paid for this machine already. And then it's like, do I really need it? And I think that's just like it's already a fair amount of money that you're spending on this machine. So for me, the value for upgrading then to an M1 Max with 32 gigs wasn't there to really qualify for the amount of extra money. So I'm fine with that. So one reason why I opted for the 512 gigabyte hard drive is, when I look at Thunderbolt 4 and the maximum bus speed that I can get with Thunderbolt, I'm roughly at about 5. In an ideal situation, I can get a read-write speed of 5 gigabytes per second. All right. The internal hard drive clocks in at 7 gigabytes per second, which is already like insane. So, okay, and if I want to upgrade an external hard drive via Thunderbolt, you can get those SSDs, and you can get external Thunderbolt casings where you can mount them into, and you can get up to like 5 gigs. So what would it cost me? I was just checking. It's roughly about like 250 for the SSD, for the internal SSD chip basically, and another about 150 to 200 for the casing. So it's like 400 for current price. So if I wait another year or two, the prices will come down, so it's probably be even cheaper. Right, another thing is the connections that I need, where I thought that the MacBook Air is not sufficient. You know, when you have a proper audio interface and an external hard drive, etc., that's already like two connectors gone. So three ports are really just like the bare minimum of what you need, and not one being taken by the charging, all right? But really 3 ports, 3 USB or Thunderbolt ports that I can actually use, and make use of. And so that was also important, why I did not go for the smaller entry-level MacBook Pro, or for the the MacBook, or for the MacBook Air. No, that's just not sufficient. So the way I have it now, it's just fine. I have a USB-C hub where I can connect USB-C to USB-A, so where I can connect my older USB-A devices that I still have, and then all that kind of stuff. And then I still have like 2 ports available for example, my trusty Antelope audio interface, which is like killer. I'll do another video about this as well, why I chose this one over anything else. And this connects via USB-C. It's actually not Thunderbolt, it's a USB-C. To show you also a little bit of the capabilities of that thing, I have prepared a song with certain instances of Vital, which I say is one of, I think it's one of the most resource or processing power hungry virtual instruments or virtual synthesizers. I also have some others. I have Dune 3, which is a great synth, and also Rob Parpin Blue, which is also one of my favorite dream synth as well. It's like a 6 oscillator mega dream machine. And I've prepared a little track, and then we can see how many instances of those we can actually load up, so that you have an idea of what this thing can really do. I play this right now so that you can do the comparison or get the idea. And but I'm saying already from my side, so long and see you next time.